For almost a decade, we have watched them fight. Just a handful of kids, really, standing against a darkness that was ready to swallow the entire world. Well, now, their story has finally reached its epic, definitive conclusion. So let's break down the finale of Stranger Things 5 and unravel its biggest secrets one last time together.
You know, it all came down to this one moment. The moment we were all dreading, staring down what looked like certain death, right at the gate between worlds. Eleven says her final words to Mike. It was a farewell that seemed to seal her fate and the fate of the Upside Down forever.
And then, it happens. Right in front of her friends, her family, even the military that had been hunting her for years, the gate collapses. 11 disappears in the blast. That finally destroys the Upside Down. A heroic sacrifice, or was it?
Yeah, because what everyone saw, that wasn't the truth. The finale's biggest twist wasn't the death of a hero. It was a masterful illusion, a great deception, and it's the absolutely incredible story of how 11, against all odds, survived the impossible.
So how did they pull it off? Well, this whole brilliant plan was cooked up between 11 and her sister, Kali. In a final promise, Kali used her own powers to cast this incredibly powerful illusion of 11 right there at the date, a projection that was designed to die in the explosion. And this amazing trick, it allowed the real 11, cloaked in invisibility, to just slip away, finally free from the military's chase for good.
So there you have it, the two realities of that single moment, the public sacrifice versus the private truth. Everyone, her friends, Hopper, Joyce, even us, we were all led to believe 11 was gone. But what really happened was a clever escape, one last magic trick to give her a future.
But that escape, that was only possible because they had already won the war. And to do that, it took one final, desperate battle for Hawkins, where the party had to confront the true source of all this evil, a place they called the Abyss.
See, for all these years, we thought the Upside Down was the source of everything, but the finale reveals it was just a reflection, a twisted, dangerous hallway. The real origin point is the Abyss, a wormhole connecting Hawkins to a much, much darker dimension, the true home of the Mind Flayer. And taking down Vecna for good, that required a perfectly timed, all-out assault. Will tapped right into the hive mind to weaken him from the inside. At the same time, the rest of the party launched a physical attack on the Mind Flayer's true form. This gave 11 the opening she needed to enter Vecna's mental layer for one last showdown. And the killing blow? You're not going to believe this. It was delivered by Joyce Spires with an axe. But how did any of this start? I mean, where did it all come from? Well, to really understand the ending, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. The series finale finally connects all the dots that were laid out in the stage play The First Shadow and reveals the true origin of the evil in Hawkins. Okay, this timeline right here, this is the key to everything. The whole chain of events actually started way back in 1943 with the infamous USS Eldritch experiment accidentally ripping open a portal to a place called Dimension X. Years later, a young Henry Creel stumbles upon tech from that very experiment, and that's what gives him his powers and his first connection to the Mind Flayer. Now, the Abyss itself, that wasn't created until 1979 when 11 banished Henry, and in doing so, accidentally opened the wormhole that would haunt Hawkins, a terrible cycle that finally comes to an end in 1989. Just think of it like this. Dimension X is the source. It's the primordial, dark realm that existed before everything we know. The Abyss, that's just the tunnel connecting that hellscape directly to Hawkins, Indiana. And that one distinction, that is the key to the entire mythology of this show. So, with Vecna finally gone and the gate destroyed for good, what happens next? Well, the epilogue gives us a little glimpse into life after the Upside Down and a new beginning for our heroes. The story jumps forward 18 months. We're now in the spring of 1989. Hawkins is slowly rebuilding from what the world thinks was just a massive earthquake. And our kids, well, they're graduating high school.
And you know what? After everything they went through, they each find their own kind of peace. Mike becomes a writer. He becomes their storyteller. Will, he finally finds acceptance and a new relationship. Dustin, of course, continues his grand adventures with Steve. Lucas and Max, they stay together. And Hopper and Joyce, they're finally engaged and they're planning a life far, far away from Hawkins. It's a well-deserved peace for every single one of them.
But what about 11? Well, Mike's final monologue just sums it up perfectly. He talks about his theory of her escape, and he admits he can't be sure. But that's the whole point. He chooses to believe. It's an ending that isn't built on certainty, but on hope. And as he says it, we get one last glimpse of Elle, finding her own peace, far away from all of it.
But hold on. Just because the Hawkins saga is over, that doesn't mean this universe is. The creators have already confirmed the story is going to continue, and they actually left a very subtle clue about what's coming next.
Now, the Duffer Brothers have been really clear about this. The next chapter is going to be a totally different thing. We're talking entirely new characters, set in a different decade, all happening within the same universe, but it's not directly connected to the story we just watched come to an end.
Which brings us to our final question. The creators have said that they hid one small scene in the finale that points directly to what this new story is going to be about. Now that you know how it all ends, did you spot it? It seems the real mystery is just beginning.